You are listening to PowerScore's Featured Law Schools podcast series. Today's featured school is the University of Michigan Law School. Currently ranked number 9 by the U.S. News & World Report, Michigan has a total full-time enrollment of 1,117 students and currently costs a little over $43,000 for in-state students and about $46,000 for out-of-state students. For the class that entered in 2009, they had more than 5,400 applicants and admitted about 22% of those. Finally, when it came to the admission for the fall of 2009, the median LSAT score was a 169, while the median GPA was a 3.7. Representing the University of Michigan Law School in our podcast today, we have the Dean of the Law School, Evan Kamaker, and a May 2010 Michigan Law School graduate, Lia Lippmann. Dean Kamaker says the community at Michigan is something that makes his school unique.
I think what makes us really stand out from among the top law schools in the country is a tremendous sense of community and collegiality. There's a handful of schools in the country that, like Michigan, have an absolute superstar faculty. There's a handful of schools that, like Michigan, have an absolute superstar student body. But Michigan is really unique in creating a collegial environment, one that envelops both the students and the faculty. So the students and the faculty support each other. They collaborate. It's a congenial environment. People get to know each other. There's a lot of access between the students and faculty, and just a lot going on with a great deal of energy on the campus. And some of that is precisely because we're not in the middle of a city where everybody disappears. There's just a lot going on in the campus and on the law school. Now, why is that important? Well, part of it is because it's enjoyable. People actually come to law school here and like it, and they make friends, and they really enjoy being here and enjoy the process of law school, which is sometimes a surprise to people thinking about going to law school. But the second is, I think it matters because it creates the best possible learning environment, that much of the learning that's going to go on in law school is going to be student to student, and it's going to take place before and after class, in addition to in class. And if you're in an environment that feels collegial and collaborative, you're willing to say what you think. You're willing to to stick your neck out. You're willing to test ideas out. You're willing to help each other. And all of that is really conducive to creating the best lawyers. If you're educated in a cutthroat environment, you probably learn to be cutthroat. And if you're educated in a collegial, collaborative environment, then you tend to learn how to be collegial and collaborative, and that's the way best lawyers need to be. So that's the thing I would really focus on, our tremendous sense of community and the kind of collegiality we have here.
And if you're interested in applying to the University of Michigan Law School, Dean Kamaker suggests a variety of things beyond the numbers that make an application stand out.
I would tell them to showcase what makes them special and exceptional. All the students here are brilliant and have great credentials, but we don't admit students based on their numerical credentials alone. We do an intensive, holistic evaluation of their candidacy, and we look for lots of special features, evidence of leadership, creativity, problem-solving abilities, entrepreneurial bent, just bringing different perspectives on a variety of things. All of that matters to us because we want to make sure that we create a class where, again, students will learn from each other as much as they learn on their own. So the recommendation is really, as you apply, to show yourself, to make sure that you find ways through your own presentation of your CV and personal essays, and even in some cases the choice of recommenders, find a way to showcase the things about yourself that really make you a special person, and would suggest that you would bring some particularly important skills or talents to law school just independent of your brilliance. I should say in addition to your brilliance.
And when trying to decide if Michigan is right for you, Dean Kamaker mentions a few opportunities that being a student at Michigan can offer.
I think Michigan really has the best of all worlds. We have a top-notch academic and a professional experience. By academic, I mean, as I said earlier, we have fantastic faculty members who are uniquely accessible to students, much more so than at many of our peer law schools. And we have this great learning environment that I discussed earlier that really means people can mix it up intellectually but do so in a way where they really get to know everybody, including spending a lot of time with the faculty. Then secondly, we have a great emphasis on professional experience. I'd say we're actually at the very leading edge of skills-focused pedagogy from among all the top law schools. So we will train students not just to think like a lawyer, but to act like a lawyer, and in many ways to be a lawyer by the time they graduate. And I'll just mention a few things here. We have, I think, the best legal practice program for first-year students of all the top law schools. Most of our peers use some combination of students and 1 or 2 year post-grad fellows, maybe with a couple of full-time faculty. By contrast, Michigan has only full-time faculty who are experienced lawyers before coming here to focus on legal practice. We have a lot of really interesting and exciting clinics. We've expanded the number of clinical offerings by about 50% over the last 4 years. A wing of our new building is going to be dedicated to clinical experiences. We've got 3 or 4 new ones that started in the last couple of years that are all very exciting. Getting people out of prison who have been wrongly convicted of crimes, human trafficking, international business transactions, things like that. And there is a great tradition of employers looking to Michigan to hire our students precisely because they know that we churn out folks who are ready to hit the ground running. So, for example, Vault and Princeton reviews for the last several years have ranked the law school in the top 3 in the country from career prospect perspectives or employers' perspectives. So we provide great training both on the academic front and on the professional front. We do it in a wonderfully collegial environment, and I think the combination of those two really makes us stand out among all the top law schools in the country.
Lia Lippmann finished her 3rd year at Michigan Law and graduated in May 2010. And when it comes to her favorite part of Michigan, her surroundings seem to play a lead role.
My favorite aspect of the law school? I would have to say being a student in Ann Arbor is really a great experience, and that sort of manifests itself in a few ways. The first is just being a part of Michigan in a community that really has a lot of pride. You know, we sort of come together around the football games, whether or not you're into football, whether or not the team is even winning. There are lots of other graduate students who you can get to know. And there's a sort of low hum and rhythm about Ann Arbor that is just sort of comforting and relaxing and makes it a fun place to be a student.
And since student life is such an important aspect to any collegiate experience, Lia says what Michigan offers is exceptional.
The student life, I would have to say, is all of the best parts of college, along with a much more intellectually engaging aspects of law school. And what I mean by that is, again, a lot of community pride, people shouting "Go Blue" at the award ceremonies, at graduation, so that sort of has that collegiate feel about it. It's also a very supportive community, much like a lot of us had in college. So, for example, my 1L section, some people's computers crashed around the end of the term, and there was never a shortage of people sending around their notes or outlines to the entire class. So it really feels like you're in this with a group of people, and so there's a very collegiate feel about the student life. And law school and the professors here make it a very, very challenging and rewarding intellectual experience. The professors I've had here, they're all here to teach because Ann Arbor isn't a big, thriving city. There aren't a lot of side practices going on. People aren't here for the thrills of Ann Arbor, though it's a fun place to live. So the people who are here really want to be here teaching, and that comes through in the classroom and outside the classroom because they're available, they're nearby, and they want to be here.
And finally, when offering advice to students considering Michigan law, Lia attributes her fellow Wolverines to a great experience.
I would say certainly come visit. It's really difficult to put into words the atmosphere of student life here that I really think differentiates Michigan from other law schools. You just get a sense of how much the students like being here, how much they like one another, and how great it is to have a law school campus that is situated on its own within the university. And so I would say come visit. You'll really get a sense of what it's like here, and you'll definitely want to be here.
Thank you for listening to PowerScore's podcast series. If you want more information on PowerScore's podcasts or services, please visit PowerScore.com, or you can call 1-800-545-1750.